back on my grind. A psychic in my lifeline told me in my lifetime my name will help light up the Chicago sky.
Oh my God!
Miles, being Spider-Man is a sacrifice.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is the long-awaited sequel to the 2018 film Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. If you haven't heard me say it before, I'm a huge fan of Into the Spider-Verse, and I've claimed it as one of my favorite all-time animated movies. So that puts a lot of pressure on the second film, releasing 5 years later and having to come off of a pretty amazing flick. Well, not only do I think Across the Spider-Verse lives up to the standard the first film placed, I dare say it actually exceeded some of my expectations. Don't get me wrong, I was already pretty hyped for this film, but given its first film status, it had pressure. Thankfully, I think it holds up to the standard. Following Miles Morales, once again voiced by Schpida Man, it turns out he's growing up and slowly growing apart from his family. Part of this is because he's this universe's Spider-Man. Things go weird when his old friend from the first movie, Gwen Stacy, voiced again by Haley Steinfeld, comes into the universe with a pretty mysterious motive. But again, not a fan of spoilers. It turns out she now works for another Spider-Man, Miguel O'Hara, or Spider-Man 2099, voiced by Oscar Isaac. And the whole film is about finding Miles' place in this big universe of spider people, with the help of returning Peter B. Parker, played again by Jake Johnson, Miles' new nemesis, Spot, who has possibly the funniest motive I've ever seen in a superhero film, played by Jason Schwartzman, and a pregnant Spider-Woman named Jessica Drew, voiced by Issa Rae. Immediately, I noticed the film got a better balance of comedy and drama. Don't get me wrong, the first film had some hard-hitting moments both in humor and drama, but it didn't quite balance it out to where it was a perfect balance. Here, it does just that. Here, just when it gets too focused on drama, it throws in a few good lines, specifically with Peter B. Parker, who I've always liked as being played by Jake Johnson. I also noticed how good this film's twists were, from the funny ones to the straight-up jaw-dropping ones. Again, no spoilers, but towards the end of the movie, it throws in a big twist with one character, and it's honestly surprising. I also love the voice acting, another consistent from the last film. Schpida Man has joined that kind of status like Rob Paulsen in Animaniacs or Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, where I can only see him voicing Miles Morales. Sure, the guy from the Insomniac games was good, but Schpida Man is a very good balance of heart mixed with a good teenage teenage angst. The film is also good at making you feel for each character. While not the most explored character, Miguel O'Hara is a very good character in this. And while it's no secret he's the film's big villain, while Morales' nemesis while Spot is more of a side threat, he does have a very understandable motive. He understands how Spider-Man works, and how this multiverse works. He doesn't mean to come off as a jackass, it's just because of what he's seen and what he knows. I also like that this film definitely focused more on Gwen Stacy this time around. The first film was pretty straight with her character, but in all due honesty, she did leave me wanting more, and that's what it's delivered with this film. She's given a way better backstory, or should I say more explored. They talked about it in the first film, but in the first film's defense, that was Miles' story and not Gwen's. Here, it's clearly Gwen's story, while Miles is more of a secondary hero. I've always liked Jake Johnson as Peter B. Parker. This is already a decently funny guy, so to give him such a funny lines to say, while also making him a much more humble character, it really helps him out. I'd say if I did have a character who didn't necessarily stand out to me, it would have to be Jessica Drew. This isn't to say she's a bad character, but she's not really in it long. She's not as funny, but to her credit, she isn't supposed to be funny. She's a mentor to Gwen, the way Peter was a mentor to Miles. But Peter was funny in the first film, and Issa Rae is a very funny actress. Give her some really funny things to say and she can pull them off. I guess it goes without saying the animation is really great in this. It was already pretty stylistic in the first film, but here it's so vibrant and everything just pops. Especially with certain characters. I won't give too much away, but certain characters just get such good artwork on them. I also like the music, especially Spider-Man 2099's theme. It's like the Prowler theme from the first film, it just gives you goosebumps. I also should remind you guys, this is part 1 of a 2-parter, with the second film Beyond the Spider-Verse releasing in March 2024. So the film ends on not just a cliffhanger, but a pretty weird cliffhanger. It's not bad, but it's kind of a blue baller. If it ended just a little earlier, I do think it would have worked better. Okay, so I've gone on and on about the stuff I love about this movie, so do I have issues? Yeah, as I said, Jessica Drew could have been in it more. I think the parents get a little too much focus. I do think they could have been cut a few minutes short, and probably my biggest problem with the film, I did laugh more in the first film. This film still has plenty of laughs, but I did laugh a lot more with the first film. When a joke doesn't hit, it doesn't ruin the movie, I just do think a little more humor could have been welcomed. Other than that, I have very few complaints with this movie, and considering we're not done yet with the next film coming out in March 2024, I am very excited to see what the future holds. It's certainly no secret this will probably be towards the top of my 2023 ranking, and there's no hiding that. This is probably a film I almost would give a 5 out of 5, but my official Letterboxd score is a 4.5 out of 5. Tune in next Monday for Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. Until next time. Oh nah, guys, you guys are treating me well. Oh man, is that Spider-Man from the universe where everyone carries an Xbox controller?